And I'm Rob Rodenburg. I'm from Adelaide. I've been a Kairos volunteer for a while, and I'm talking on obedience. And when Deb asked me to talk about obedience, my eyes lit up because I'm an AKT trainer. And if there's one thorny issue that confronts an AKT trainer, it's the issue of obedience. And Stephen spoke about how we love our independence. And Queensland is well known for its independence. So I'll probably stir a few of you up tonight by some of my comments, but it is 7:45, and if I don't say something contentious, you all go to sleep. So anyway, here goes. But yeah, obedience, it's you don't have to look too far, do you, to see disobedience. And we start with Adam and Eve, don't we? And we work our way through the Old Testament and the New Testament, and here we are today and still struggling with those issues of obedience and disobedience and respect and all that sort of stuff. And why is obedience so important to Kairos? Well, I suppose, number one, we have to be predictable to our clients, and our clients are either the participants of KO weekends, or they are the inmates of prisons, or for Torch, they're the young boys and girls that are in juvenile detention centres. So from the point of view of being predictable to their carers, obedience is really critical. And yet we struggle with it, don't we? You will, I know, I'm sure I'm not paraphrasing Vern by saying he's very aware of our agreement with KPMA, which demands that we follow the program manual. We have an agreement, a formal agreement with KPMA that we have to be obedient to the manual. And having been on a few team formations, how many of you, when was the last time you read the program manual? And I'm just at the moment involved in a team formation. I gave my usual splurge about how important it is to read the manual. And of course, I think one or two manuals went out that at the end of the session, and the rest were still in the box. So we do struggle with obedience. And I think number one is that we recognise that, and it's quite a human response. We have our fixed ideas. And what God is challenging us with is to give up some of those ideas to further his work. And every time we struggle to assert our will rather than God's will, then we're weakening the program. And I think when we look at it from that point of view, hopefully that will help you, what can I say, accept that sometimes we do have to give things up. Sometimes we have to give things up that are very precious to us, and yet that is what God is demanding of us. And so that's really what I wanted to put before you today. There are a few good examples. Ezra would have to be a perfect one, and Jan Symes would know all about how volunteers have struggled with Ezra and how KO have struggled with the introduction of Ezra. And do we really have to do it this way? You know, we use spreadsheets and they've been fantastic, and why do we have to use this clunky program? KI has had very much the same response in the early days when Ezra was first introduced. And then there's the Excellence Initiative. Again, resistance to the Excellence Initiative, and yet it's such a valuable tool in helping regional committees identify where there might be weaknesses, but equally where there are strengths. But again, there's this resistance to, we've never done an excellence initiative, why do we have to do it now? So can you see the mindset? And this is an entirely human mindset, you know, and the important thing is we recognise that, and so that we are aware of it. And so when the leader of a team starts to ask things of us that, you know, do we have to? Yes, you do have to, if we're going to be obedient to God's leading. And I think, you know, that it's just important that we recognise that struggle, but the importance of it, and just looking at a few of the notes that I've got here. Look, I think that really that's about as much as I want to say about obedience. It's more probably I should be talking about disobedience, because I think that's the thing that we struggle with more than obedience. And my plea to all of you is, as Kairos volunteers, to accept that responsibility seriously. That when and I don't know how many of you from KI perspective, the first time I went into did a short course, and the first session, and the guys were getting belted over the head with all this scripture and prayer, and I thought, no one's going to come back in the morning, and there they all were the next morning. And why was that? And if you look at, there's a video that I spoke to a few of you about, how I love the video called Cassillo Roots. And they explained the importance of shifting our participants from the mindset that they come to a short course or a weekend program, to shift them out of that mindset into a mindset where God can actually start to penetrate His grace and His love and His mercy into their lives. And yet, what do we want to do? Whenever we feel that, this is too much, this is too religious, these people, they're not going to accept this, and then can you see what we're doing to God in our disobedience when we start thinking about we know better than what we're being asked to deliver? I'll leave that challenge with you. Thank you.